might have. He might need something else because Leighton Vander Esch was in the next county during that play. 10-7, though. Dallas is up. Dallas came to play, and look out. Who's that, Miles Boykin? Yes, it is. 38-yard touchdown. All right, and the Ravens do the thing where they dim the lights, and I always think something weird is going on, but that's what they do. Now, missed opportunities. You want to hear something weird going on? Greg Zuerlein missed 3 kicks. This is the Pets' header falling off. Zuerlein, who's been to the Super Bowl, who's been around forever, you've heard of him, and that was after a really dumb penalty on Dallas that moved it back 5 yards. Oh. And as Buck pointed out, some of the coaches this year are grateful for the mask because you can't read their lips. Nothing good to read here. But this is the end of the first half. Watch Dalton sling this thing. Come on, Andy. It is a laser, 65 yards, and you drafted CeeDee Lamb to go up. Let's replay this.
Had a shot.
Nate, take me through it.
You had a shot.
A shot?
That was DeAndre Hopkins. He would have came down with it.
Or maybe if it was Des Bryant, he would have come down. Who knows? We got to wash off Lamar's visor. At this point, that Dallas Hail Mary might have been the official end of their season. 17-10, third quarter, Lamar waiting. He's like, I think I'll just go to Hollywood primetime jet. Smallest guy in the field, drop it in the bucket. Lamar, a really beautiful pass. Brown, things to say afterwards. And then celebrating. The Ravens got it going last night. After they scuffled a little bit, back and forth ugly early, in the second half, they rolled over on Dallas. They win 7-5. And a very costume-covered, safe, and extremely animated Lamar Jackson after the game. Reigning MVP. How'd it feel to be back on the field?
Did the time off and time away, did you kind of make you want to be out there?
I ain't play a whole, I felt like I ain't play a whole season. Like, I was like, I feel good to be back with my guys, even in practice, walking into the locker room and stuff like that. It's like, man, I couldn't wait to see y'all face. Like, it was like 2 weeks I ain't see those guys. So it was like, man, I can't wait to get out there and perform for those guys because I know how much, it means to us to win games.
And we love to see he was the best player on the field last night. 4 more to go. The Ravens still in the hunt column in the AFC. They're a game back at the Colts and the Dolphins, Nate. Huge matchup, by the way, with their division rival, who we love, the 9-3 Browns, coming up next week.
No doubt about it. It was good to see them back on the field. You could see that Lamar Jackson was excited to be back. He missed the game. He missed his boys. He missed being out there. Did they play a perfect game? No. Was it enough? It was efficient. And what I love about it, it wasn't Lamar Jackson throwing the ball 45 times. It was efficient. He threw the ball 17 times, 12 completions, 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 1. Like, that's the Lamar Jackson experience. That's what we want week in and week out. You don't have to wow us. You don't have to be the unanimous MVP of the league. You just have to control the game and not throw the ball away. And he struggled to do that this year. It was good to see them play efficiently. And like you said, Kay, they're back in the hunt.
They are. And I know Peter has takes on the Cowboys, but first this about the Ravens. I hate seeing this. If I'm the Browns, the Dolphins, the Colts, the Steelers, you don't want this.
Yep.
You don't, no. Stay asleep. Stay off the field. Don't start running the ball. And don't get Lamar going. There's a couple great moments last night. One, he was as animated as I've ever seen him. Not after the game, during the game when he's like, no, we're going for it, waving people off. Look at him. Stay over there. This is some of the magic we saw last year when he gets in Harbaugh's ear and says,
Seattle, absolutely.
Yes, let's go. No, we're going for it. They do go for it. They get it. And then this run, this feels like a slumping home run hitter who finally says, screw it, I'm swinging out of my shoes and hit one 600 feet.
Yep.
An unbelievable. Then the lineman in the background. We got it. Guys, don't let the party start for Baltimore. They got a lot of work to do. But this is a scary thing, and I think there's been something missing. The last thing I'm going to say, as it pertains to our show, if you follow our show, you know how this goes. Let me show you what's been missing. This is a picture from last year's Ravens. Last year's Ravens on this show. All right, that's 3 different Baltimore Ravens who won the Angry Runs crown. That's Ingram. That's Project Pat Ricard, who was back in the field last night. That's Hayden Hurst, who's not even on the team anymore. They have not had a single submission this year all fall long. Never mind a winner.
Okay.
They haven't had a damn finalist.
Not one,
I see where you're going.
One.
See where you're going.
It's ridiculous. That's not what the Ravens are all about. We used to run into Chad Steele, their PR guy, and he would come up to us and be like, all the guys in the locker room are fighting over the angry crown. Never mind the segment or the crown or anything. That was the mentality of the team. Yeah. And that was back last night. I don't like that if I'm the AFC.
No, and especially if you're a team that doesn't want to defend the run because they ran all over the Cowboys.
Gus?
200-plus yards rushing. Lamar had the 55-yard run, but, Gus Edwards was great. J.K. Dobbins, I know he's wearing Ray Rice's old jersey. Every time I see it, I'm like, he looks like Ray Rice out there. He's just a scat back.
I think he had 10 yards of carry last night.
He was fantastic. And yet I have to say, pump the brakes a little bit because the Cowboys are the worst team in football.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, last night was atrocious.
They're 32?
That was the Jets are beating the Cowboys.
Okay.
And at one point, they bring out Zerline and he misses a field goal, and you're like, all right, well, Greg Zerline, he can miss a field goal here and there.
Yeah.
He missed 3 field goals last night, and that's not Greg Zerline. That's not what the Cowboys are. They showed over the sidelines at one point, and there's like this masked man, and I'm like, I don't even recognize who that is. It was Mike Nolan, who I've known for 20 years coaching, but because of the mask, because of the hat, and I'm like, that's so symbolic of this Cowboys team. I don't even recognize this team. They went on prime time, and I'll tell you, Aikman spared no jabs at this team.
Aikman goes in on the Cowboys.
Aikman goes real in on the Cowboys, and it was all warranted. And that's their run defense. Guess who they're facing on Monday night in less than a week? Facing a Browns defense that absolutely shut down Derrick Henry. So I would say it's great to get it back, and I'm gonna say you're exactly right with that, Kyle, that like it's nice to get out and say, okay, this is what we are, this is how we can play. The Browns can stop the run. This is not something to do a celebration over. You got to really quickly look and say, 48 hours from now, we got to prepare for the Browns because that's the biggest game of the season.
Yeah, and the defense looked better, right? It didn't look great, but they had Brandon Williams back for the first time in 3 weeks. That was huge. He's the one who tipped the ball. I know Patrick Queen had the interception, but Brandon Williams has not been out there. He was out there and helped make that big play. They didn't have Matthew Judon out there, guys. They aren't perfect. They didn't have Jimmy Smith out there. This is what I'm talking about, though. If their defense is healthy and at 100, they're as good as any defense in the National Football League. I'd like to see them rely on that defense a little more so we don't have to have Lamar do as much as he might have to do. I don't want to see 2019 or need to see necessarily that offense. This defense needs to get back to form, and I think having Brandon Williams back is huge. Calais, all of that. And Calais, told Jay Glazer yesterday on the Fox pregame show that he's only operating at 85%. If they get close to 100, I have a lot of confidence with a favorable schedule coming up.
They better be. Chubb and Hunt coming up. Let's go. I mean, that's the game of the week right now, right? Cleveland, Baltimore. I'm into it.
I know. Let's bring in Ian Rappaport. Right before kickoff last night, we did hear that news. It was part of our highlight. Everyone was scratching their heads about Dez Bryant testing positive for COVID-19. I think I know how he feels about it. I follow him on Twitter. How did the Ravens and the league feel, and how did they handle that situation?
Yeah, Dez Bryant's Twitter feed became must-read Twittering, or whatever you would say, and just a full, all the emotions for Dez Bryant last night, threatening to quit, saying he couldn't deal with it, and then saying basically like everyone else in 2020, I'm just going to drink some wine and cope, and then later saying, yeah, I'm going to come back, I'm just being smart of it. It was a ride for Dez Bryant, understandably. Okay, here is how it broke down. Here is how this happened. So Dez Bryant, his PCR test run yesterday morning was inconclusive. They ran another test. It was inconclusive. When the NFL learned that his test was inconclusive, that is when they pulled him off the field. Also worth remembering, the Ravens are very close to one of the testing facilities, so they probably get results faster than a lot of teams. Anyway, Dez Bryant was pulled off the field. His point-of-care test was positive. He was not allowed to play in the game. That is when the NFL pulled him and made sure that he was not going to play. The team officially scratched him because of an illness. Then the NFL did the contact tracing using the Kinexon devices, the bracelets, and everything else. Deemed there were no other high-risk close contacts for Dez Bryant. That means everyone else could play, and Dez could not, and the game went on.